Okay, good morning. So today is our last graded assignment, as I had spoken about that previously in the last class. We're going to be talking a little bit about nutrition. Many of this stuff should be a review from past health that you've had maybe in middle school or in the past. So it's not going to be something I'm really going to be taking too much time on. It's kind of more of a review. The PowerPoint that I'm going over today will be in your PowerPoints folder too. So when you go and you take the assessment, you can open the PowerPoints folder, open up that PowerPoint so you can have it to help you. Again, take it 3 times, get the highest score. It's worth 18 points. Got to end on the high note. So it's a higher score. It's worth 18 points, and it can get many of your grades up if you need it. There are some of you who are missing assignments still, and you're running out of time. You are running out of time. Get them done. I see you next week, Tuesday, Thursday. We will not have any graded assignments next week. Okay? This is our last graded assignment. Yep. Yes, it is. Okay. Someone at home, if you can just unmute yourself and say that you can see and you can hear me. Can you see the PowerPoint and can you hear me?
Yeah.
Perfect. Let's do it. All right, what's in our food? So there's some things you're going to learn today about the US of A and how some things are that we are allowed to do here is banned in other countries. Right, so we're just going to review the 3 macronutrients. If you guys don't remember what a macronutrient is, it's what our bodies need to live, to survive, to work correctly. Proteins, carbohydrates, and fats. If anyone tells you that you don't need one of those things or you shouldn't eat one of those 3 things, they are wrong. All right, and we're going to kind of go over why. All right, protein is the building blocks of cartilage, muscle, bone, skin, hair, nails, blood. Okay, 1 gram of protein is 4 calories. Protein is not stored in the body like fats and carbs are. It is a macronutrient and it is needed in large quantities. Where can you find protein? Nuts, seeds, meat, poultry, legumes, eggs, fish. Like these things right over those green things up top. Carbs, bro. Carbs are the source of energy for our body. All right, that's where we get our energy, for our brain, for our muscles. Okay, sugars, starches, fibers in fruit, veggies, grains, and milk products. 1 gram of carbs is 4 calories. But there's different types of carbs, which is why sometimes people say carbs are bad. That's not the case. It's the types of carbs, which we're going to get into. There's something called glucose, which is immediate energy. It gives it to you right away, nice and quick, and then it goes away. But then there's something called glycogen. This energy, this type of carb is stored in your liver and your muscles. Anything extra, so our body can store 2,000 calories of carbs. Anything extra is going to be stored as body fat. Good carbs versus bad carbs. Okay, bad carbs are processed sugar, right? Artificial sweeteners, corn syrup. HFCS stands for high fructose corn syrup. Okay, good carbs. Now this is what we're talking about that is good. Vegetables, grains, fruits, they all have nutritional value. It's not just something that you're going to eat and 20 minutes later you're hungry again. That's the bad sugars. Simple versus complex. Okay, simple has just 1 or 2 sugars, table sugar, milk, fruit. Complex has 3 or more sugars, potatoes, corn, whole grains. And fat. Contrary to some belief, fat does not make you fat. All right, 1 gram of fat equals 9 calories. Fats provide energy. It helps your body absorb vitamins. It's good for your skin, your hair, controls inflammation, and it helps in brain development. You ever look at the back of like a food label and you see things like saturated fat, unsaturated fat, what's polyunsaturated, mono, right? All these trans fat, what does that mean? Okay. Well, this is what it means. Okay, saturated fat has said in the past it could be bad for your heart. There's new studies that really don't find a link for that. And then there's this unsaturated fat, monounsaturated and polyunsaturated. This is like the good fats. These are the good fats. So like If you're eating like crap compared to eating an avocado, if you eat an avocado, it has a lot of fat in it. Some people might say, oh, that's too much fat, but it's good fat. So this is what we're talking about. So monounsaturated fat, like avocados, oils, nuts. And then you have polyunsaturated vegetables, oils, nuts. Omega-6 or omega-3 comes from fatty fish. Fish is very good for you to try and get the good, healthy fats. And I always talk about, people are always like, well, how do you lose weight? And do I have to run for 5 hours? Do I have to do cardio? I hate cardio. And it's really about what you eat that can really help you. I mean, some of you guys are getting to a point in your life where, you know, you're looking at your body, you're like, oh, my body's changing. Like, wow, I really want to gain some muscle. I really want to like get swole at the gym, right? And it's really 80% what you eat. And yes, working out and lifting, of course, but it doesn't mean you have to do a million hours of cardio in order to maybe lose some weight or lose some fat. It's really 80% what you eat, 20% what you do. Think of it this way. You just went to the gym, you burned 300 calories, you ran, you did all this crazy stuff, and you really worked hard. Then you come home and you're so hungry, and there's a donut there, and you're like, yeah, I'm gonna eat it. Right? Bad sugar, bad carbs. You just ate what you just lost at the gym. You just ate those calories right back within 30 seconds. So it's really what you're eating. And this is just kind of talking about omega-3, omega-6. And this is more, you don't really have to worry about this, but you can read this on your own. It just kind of goes through like the ratio of what you should be eating when it comes to those things. But again, omega-3s find in fish. Fish is a great source of protein and fat. This is what I want to get to, GMOs. You ever heard of this? Genetically modified organism. Genetically modified food? Does that sound good? No, it's not. Many foods that we eat, like corn and wheat, are actually not the same crops that were created years and years ago. They're different. They've been changed. They've been modified. Why? GMOs were created to make food last longer so that it can last longer and feed more people. So how do you make food last longer? You put something in it. Do you think that stuff is healthy? It's not. All right. The problem is we didn't really know what these GMOs are really going to do to our bodies long term. But, you know, can it increase cancer rates? Can it increase autoimmune diseases, stomach problems? Think of it. You guys know what gluten-free is? You ever heard of gluten-free before? Maybe you don't know what it is, but if you heard of it, a lot of people nowadays, like you're sitting in your chair, you're like, oh yeah, like I know I go to the restaurant, they have like a gluten-free option or a GF next to foods and stuff. Okay, when I was your age, 10, 15 years ago, I had no idea what gluten was. Like it wasn't even on our radar, right? And then I was 19 years old. I started getting really sick. I had no idea why I was getting sick. The doctors couldn't figure it out. They were taking tests. I was in and out of the hospital throughout college for 3 years. And then all of a sudden they found out I had celiac disease, which my body cannot process gluten. So I, ever since then, about 10 years ago, have to eat gluten-free. And back then, we had no idea what that was. Now it's like this fad too, because people are saying it's healthier and this and that. And that's debatable. But that's how things are changing. So many more people are having stomach issues. So many more people are having autoimmune diseases that start jumping in. And could it be because of the food we eat? Who knows? Craziest part about this whole thing is that GMO labels on the foods we eat are not required by our US government. So manufacturers can make food and not tell you that it's genetically modified. It's not illegal in this country. And in many other countries, GMOs and things of that nature are banned, but not here. This is just kind of, you can look at this later on when you look at the PowerPoint, but it's kind of talking about some genetic modifications can include the addition of DNA from species that wouldn't really breed if it was natural. All right. These are the top 10 GMO foods: oil, rice, corn, potatoes, tomatoes, dairy products, legumes. And Monsanto, they are the largest producer and distributor of GMOs. And they produce herbicides. What's an herbicide? It's a pesticide. What's a pesticide? It's a toxin that we put in our bodies, that we eat. That some foods we think are healthy have GMOs in it, and we don't even know because they don't have to tell us. What are some of those things that we eat that have GMOs in it? This is a short list. Let me read some things for you. Tell me if you've ever heard of them. Bisquick, Coca-Cola, Campbell's, Capri Sun, Cheetos, Crisco, Crystal Light, Dole, Doritos, Eggo waffles, Frito-Lay, Fruitopia, Gatorade, General Mills, graham crackers, Hawaiian Punch, Healthy Choice, Heinz, Hellmann's, Hershey's, Hostess, Hungry Jack's, Hunt's, Kellogg's, Kraft, condiments and dressings for salads, Lay's Ruffles, Lipton, Minute Maid, Nabisco, Nature Valley, Nestle, Nutter Butter, Oreos, Pepperidge Farm, Pepsi, Post, Powerbar, Pringles, Quaker, Ragu, Rice-A-Roni meals, labeled simply 100% juice. If anything's labeled simply 100% juice, GMO. Stouffer's, Tang, Teddy Grahams, some yogurts, Tostitos, Triscuits, Tropicana, Wheat Thins. These are just some GMOs.
You said Nature Valley. Aren't those the healthy bars?
Nature Valley, the healthy bars, right? That we're told are healthy. So now let's go to the flip side. Okay, well, what can we do about it? Well, we can eat organic. Okay, but what do we, even if you know nothing about organic, I know most of you know that organic foods can be what? Really expensive. And it's kind of like they're trying to deter us away from healthy food, legitimate healthy food, because it's so expensive. Like, why? There are foods that can say organic on the label, but if it doesn't have this label right here that you see, it's not really organic. But Diamond, can it say organic on the label and not really be organic? Yes, it can. It can. There's no laws. All right. This can be hard though, right? Organic food, what is it? It's not processed using any industrial solvents, no food additives, no irradiation, no additives, no toxins, nothing like that. And this can be hard to do, right? Because if you're just like, whoa, like if I want to eat organic, like I'm broke. That's why many low poverty areas have a higher obesity rate because they don't have, one, the accessibility for organic foods, and two, the money to even purchase this. So how can you start small, right? Like think of it this way. Okay, so here's apples. You go to the store and get an apple. The number 9, you ever see these codes? I'm sure a bunch of you guys have seen these codes before. So the number 9, if it starts with the number 9, that means it's organic. Obviously, any fruit or veggie that you get, if it's organic, it's probably going to be a little bit more expensive than something that's not organic. Number 4 means it's conventional. This is actually the most popular or most common that you guys will see, but it is grown with chemicals and pesticides. Number 8 is GMO. Not only does it have chemicals and pesticides, it's also grown unnaturally and it's completely genetically modified, like it's man-made in a way. Not fully, but so if you're going to do anything, if you can change one little thing, stay away from number 8. So when you go home today, just asking, you go home, open your fridge, take out an apple, look at your label and come back and tell me what number you found. Was it a 4? Was it a 9? Was it an 8? If it's an 8, stay away. If you have a chance and if you can, try and see if you can get the number 9. Talk to your parents about what we talked about today. Food additives are not naturally occurring. They're typically toxic and have chemicals in them. Why are they added to food? To improve the flavor, to increase the shelf life of that food so it'll last longer so that people can buy it, and to make it look nice. Average apple, let's go back to that apple. You go to the grocery store with your parents and you pick up an apple. How long do you think, on average, that apple has been there. What's the average shelf life of an apple? Not an organic apple, just a regular apple. You say like a week? How long has it been there? A week, 2 weeks, a month, 5 years? Like, take a guess. A week, a few days, couple months. Anyone at home want to take a guess?
It was like,
Maybe like a week and a half.
Week and a half, huh?
it was just in your house sitting.
No, at the grocery store, you pick up an apple,
Wow.
the average apple. Want to know the answer?
2 weeks.
9 to 12 months. Moving on. Not kidding. Sugar. Sugar is so highly addictive that I'm going to go ahead and say it's more addictive than heroin. Okay? And you don't think about food as addictive as drugs, but it's so addictive. If you ever see white sugar, of course I have diamond. That's the normal color of sugar. The real color of sugar is brown, not white. If you have white sugar, it's been changed and modified. It's nutritionally poor and more poor than the regular sugar, which is actually brown. Okay? The average American, and this is from 2008, so I'm going to say this probably at least maybe close to doubled, eats 19 teaspoons a day of sugar. Oh, so let's say you ever go, you're like, I want a Coke Zero. I'm going to have a Coke Zero because it's 0 calories or it's sugar-free. I'm going to have a juice and it's sugar-free. I'm going to go with that because it's healthier. I'm going to do that sugar-free, right? So you look at the back, you look at the label, and it's like, oh yeah, there's no sugar. That's great. Look, 0, no sugar. But if you look at the ingredients and you look at the list, these are 50 names of sugar that you may not have known. 50 other names. So if you see something that says sugar-free, take a look at it. Take a look at the ingredients because I promise you it's going to say one of these words instead of sugar. This is how these companies get to you because you think you're taking the healthy route, but in reality, it's worse because these are just additives. So if you're going to have a Coca-Cola, which you shouldn't because it's bad for you, but if you're going to drink a soda, don't go for the diet, just drink the soda. Talked about this a little earlier. High
That's why people
fructose
say, like,
corn
Diet
syrup.
Coke is, like, worse than-
It is, and that's why, right. High fructose corn syrup is manufactured from cornstarch and it's made from genetically modified corn, GMO. It's not a natural fruit sugar, which is why you might have seen that many cereal companies removed this from their foods. All right, artificial sweeteners. Okay, fine, Diamond. You know what? Next time I have my coffee, I'm going to go with some Splenda. I have some sweet and low instead. These artificial sweeteners actually decrease the good bacteria that's found in our guts and our intestines. It also can increase the likelihood of depression and some cancers. Here's the craziest part about the whole thing. Our brain, whether we have regular sugar in our coffee or Splenda sweet and low equal, our brain processes that sugar the exact same way as regular sugar. And your body's going to crave more of it because sugar is extremely addictive. So if you have parents out there that are having some sweet and low and Splenda, maybe you should go back to them and say, you maybe should just go with the regular sugar. And hey, maybe we should get the real sugar, not the white sugar. Try it out. So here, like I said, this can be a lot of information. And it's kind of like, well, where do I start? So when I started learning about this stuff when I was younger, probably a little older than you guys, first thing I started was, especially when I had started my own family, was like, man, I don't want to give this stuff to my kids, was fruit, vegetables, and meat. Those are the 3 things that my wife and I really strive for to keep organic: fruit, vegetables, and meat, right? And if you can only do one of those for now, or maybe talk to your parents at home and, you know, you're going to the grocery store and you pick up an apple, maybe go for the number 9, organic. Stay away from the number 8. This is a video that we might watch next week, and my computer's kind of frozen here. All right, and we might watch this next week. It's Secrets of Sugar. I'm gonna put it on. It is in the PowerPoint, so I'm gonna add it in there in a moment for you guys to see. You can always watch this. It kind of talks about sugar. It's pretty crazy. So that's that. Okay, what you are to do right now Your last graded assignment of the year. We've all been waiting for these days. You're going to go into Schoology under this week's folder. I published the nutrition assessment. It's worth 18 points. You can take it as many times as you need to take it. Up in the PowerPoints folder, I'm also publishing the PowerPoint that I just went over. So you can feel free to open up that PowerPoint, use it as you're taking the assessment. If you guys have any questions at all, I'm here to help you. I also, and I'm not sure if people are here today that I need to speak to, but I might ask some of you to join me in a breakout room or talk to some of you guys here in front of me. But I am here if you need any help. Are there any questions? Great.